Boom, 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 boom. Here we are for another week inside of Better Body Academy, and I'm super pumped to be getting your eyeballs and earbuds with me here this morning. If it is indeed a morning for you, happy Monday. I hope you guys are having a beautiful start to your Monday. And we're going to be getting stuck into an important Monday topic. I think this one's going to benefit a lot of people. So if you are indeed watching this one, of course, you know the drill. What I want you to do is pop down in the comments. I'm live. Say hi. Let us know how your weekend is. And we're going to start in a couple of moments. And if you do watch this one on replay, please let me know. It's really good to kind of know who in our crew is consuming the podcasts and getting that information in. I think it's super, super important because the way that you change yourself is to change the information that you feed yourself. So let us know who's coming into this one, guys. Oh, we got some kings. I love how it's just like the dudes that are always just like bang, 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 bang. So good. I could almost tell you who they're going to be before they get in here. It's so good. Guys, we're going to get started in 2 minutes. How was your weekend, team? So, and here she is. Okay, Tez, how are you, mate? Lovely to have you in here, brother. Mate, looking good there, champion. Hello, Zachy. How are you, my legend? I hope, brother boy. Oh, I like that. I've never been called brother boy before, but I'll cop it. I like that, Zachy. Nikki friend, how are you, my legend? Good to have your company here, champion. Chris, back into it this week. Good. You should be, buddy. We're on the ascent to Christmas, not the decline to Christmas. I'm going to be there to kick your ass pretty soon, mate. Who else have we got? Pammy's here. Hello, Pam. Lovely to have your company in here this morning, or this evening for you, actually. Hello, Ash. Looking smoking on the beach in that bikini, Ash. Especially the post-baby body, doing super well. Hello, Ez. How are you, mate? I hope you've had a beautiful start to the day. Tez is doing the thing and tagging everyone up. How's your weekend, guys? We're going to be getting started on this episode in 1 minute. So count it down if you will. Hello, Jackie Morrison. How are you, mate? Ooh, we don't often get you live on the podcast, Jack. Are you sleeping in this morning or something? Or am I early? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to be rocking and rolling in 30 seconds, guys. Big podcast episode. I think this is going to be a good one. So as always with the podcast, guys, please comment along live. If you got any questions that you want to shoot me, then absolutely do that. And we are going to get started. I think we're good to go, guys. You ready? You ready to rock and roll? Let's bring in the Instagram team and let's get this smoking. All right, guys. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast. This is the podcast you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. Now, in today's episode, we're going to be having a conversation around an idea that I think has a lot of merit. And this is going to be beneficial for those that have just started their fitness journey, and also those that feel like they've been stuck for a period of time. This is something that I think will actually help you to fall in love with the process all over again, instead of kind of getting caught up in the outcomes that you're chasing. All right, we're going to get interactive at the start. If you're not at the gym watching this podcast, like I know many of you are, here's what I want you to do. I want you to give me a show of hands, yes, in the comments, to any of these questions that I'm about to ask you. So number 1, comment me if you would consider yourself a busy person. Comment me if you would consider yourself a busy person. Comment me. Come on, let's get the comments rolling in, guys. I want to see this chat blowing up. Comment me if you'd consider yourself a busy person. Now, comment me if you have at times struggled to prioritize your responsibilities to your fitness journey, to your kids, and to your work. Okay? Have you ever struggled to prioritize that? Okay? Comment me if that is you. Next one. Comment me if at times you feel like you are failing because you can't keep all the balls in the air at once. You know, most of the people inside of Better Body Academy are, most of them are parents. Most of them are very, very busy. Most of them have family. Do you feel like you're failing when you can't keep all the balls in the air at once? And finally, comment me if this has led you to a feeling of failure because you feel like you just can't keep everything up and therefore you're stupid and you're useless and therefore you might as well just give up. Or worse still, you end up self-sabotaging. Is that you? So, with that as a platform to this episode, would you agree that most people embark on a fitness journey, they seem to overcommit at the start? Do you think that's a thing? What do I mean by overcommitting? I mean dropping let's say you've got a fat loss goal. I mean dropping your food volume so low that you can't continue because you're so hungry all the time. I mean changing the quality of your food so drastically that you don't even know what you're eating anymore and it becomes boring. I mean training 5 or 6 days a week and feeling like you never actually have a rest. I mean going so intensely in the sessions that you are so sore and you never feel like you've had time to recover. I mean getting up so early every day that you're just constantly fatigued. And because you're constantly fatigued, you're so temperamental and very, very short with the people that you love, including your friends and family. I mean being so disciplined that you won't go out socially because you don't want to fuck up your results. And so you would prefer to isolate yourself. This is what I mean by overcommitting. You get the overcommitment, right? This is the problem with the fitness industry, guys. Right across the spectrum, there is a mantra that suggests that the harder, the longer, and more intensely you go, the better. Do you guys feel that? I'm looking at you, Jackie Morrison. I'm looking at you, Pam. Do you guys feel that? The more intensely, the longer you go, the better it is for you. It's a message being pushed by personal trainers and athletes who, as part of their job, which of course pays their bills, are expected to look a certain way and spruik a certain message. We as consumers drink the Kool-Aid, but the problem is that we're not getting paid to be fit or to look good. Does this make sense? I'm going to highlight this comment from Amy. Go hard or go home. Isn't that the mantra we are always sold? Exactly what I'm talking about, Ames. And so there is this massive fragmentation between the message that is being sent by the people in the fitness industry and the message that the everyday woman and man should be receiving. There's fragmentation there. As Amy says, that no pain equals no gain. I believe that for most people, that message is not beneficial. The belief that more equals better. I believe that for most people, that message is not beneficial. Let's go a little bit deeper. What are the true objections to starting a fitness journey when you're stuck in park? Now, I'm talking to the men and women that are not in Better Body Academy and considering getting started, or you may be in Better Body Academy and maybe you've come to a grind and you don't know how to get back into momentum. What are the objections that you're facing? Number one, you don't know what to do. Number two, you don't have the motivation to get started. Number three, you have a fear of failure because you failed so many times. Or number four, you don't want to look like a dick in front of all your friends. To me, they are the four key objections. You don't know what to do. You don't have the motivation to get started. You have a fear of failure because you failed so many times before and you don't want to start again and fail again. And you don't want to look like a dick in front of your mates. So here you are, maybe 10 or 20 kilos over where you want to be, and you hear this message, no pain, no gain. Or it's only beneficial if you train 5 days a week. What is that going to do for your self-belief in getting started? How does that help you get the first 2 to 3 kilos off so that you can actually see, you know what? I can do this. I've said so many times before, fat loss is simple. Fat loss is simple, but losing weight is hard. I've said that a million times because from a scientific perspective, all we need to actually do is get you into a calorie deficit and you'll lose weight. Simple. It's that simple, okay? But the reason long-term sustainable weight management is hard, and I've got in my mind you, Chris Lewis, right now, is because of all of the mental and emotional games that we have going on and all of the time constraints we have, like our kids, for example, like our businesses, for example, like having social occasions, the things that we've talked about. This is why, whilst I love people like, his name's escaping me at the moment, but the dark guy, what's his bloody name? Someone give me his name in the comments, like that's running like crazily all the time and just like yelling, this is where you need to do, it needs to be harder, it needs to be faster, it needs to be, get off your ass. Like that message being propagated is not helping anyone. Name's escaping him at the moment. So I want to propose an unconventional mindset shift, okay? Here it is. Health and fitness, especially at the start, but right throughout your transformation, should be about minimum effective dose. Minimum effective dose. By this I mean, what is the minimum amount of nutrition and exercise intervention we can take to bring us a result? So the current message is no pain, no gain. You need to get started. You need to commit. What if we changed it to what is the minimum amount that I can do to see a change in the result? You see, health and weight management is the only facet of our life where we seem to want to go all in at the start. Let's use a trip to the races as an example. Let's pretend you love a flutter on the horses. You've got a budget at $500 to punt for on the day. Maybe you go to the races once or twice a year. So you've allocated $500 for your day's betting, gambling. Would you place $500 on the nose of a horse on race 1, even if it was a short favorite? Would you spend all your money on that one race? Of course not, because the risk would be that there's an upset, you lose all your money, and then you spend the next 6 hours at the race twiddling your fingers just at the side of the track. Or what about getting married? Despite what actually happens in the end, getting married, do you enter a marriage with a short-term, all-in, only if it's good and perfect mindset? Of course not. The essence of most vows is that we will work through our struggles and play the long game. Why is it then, when it comes to fitness and weight management, we look for the maximum that we can commit straight up from day one? Why are we doing that? There's no other facet of our lives when we go all in on race 1. You see, when we punt on short-term commitments for maximum results short-term, that's a little bit like gambling or investing all of your available resources in Bitcoin. When I look at the most successful people in our academy that have held long-term transformations, exactly 0 of them started with a 6-day-a-week training program and a heavily restricted diet. Exactly none of them. Don't get me wrong, okay? I'm the first one to glorify people like Terry Holden and Kiara Barnett that are so incredibly consistent in their training quality and quantity. I'm the first one to glorify them. But I want you to ask yourself, how do you think that momentum was formed for them at the start? By building a consistent habit and allowing time to fail and not being absolutely perfect from day one and trying to walk this tightrope where if you fail hard. It was about doing the minimum effective dose at the start to set the habit in motion. And don't get me wrong, the personality trait that most people lack, and which prevents them from any form of success in life, is discipline. This is the most important thing that most people lack. So I'm not saying that scaling up your efforts not important, but there's a difference between having the discipline to do the minimum effective dose, whatever that is for you, and trying to overcommit and doing the absolute maximum that you can do over the course of a week. Do you guys see the difference here? A commitment and a discipline to the minimum effective dose that's necessary to move the needle. This podcast has just been joined by Maddie Harvey, and Maddie Harvey's a great example of this. Doing the minimum effective dose and then going to Fiji for a holiday and enjoying some beer. That is what this is about. And when you think about getting stronger and even performing better, that's also about minimum effective dose. What is the minimum amount that I need to increase my training by to progressively improve my muscular strength or my cardiovascular fitness, as an example? If I'm currently training 3 days a week, then I don't need to jump to 6 days a week. If I'm currently squatting 80 kilos for 10 repetitions, I don't need to all of a sudden, to get an extra benefit, double it to 160 kilograms. I need to increase it by the minimum effective dose to force the adaptation. Is this hitting, guys? Is this making sense to those of you watching live? When we're coming to busting fat loss plateaus, as an example, what is the minimum change I need to reduce my calories by to get me back into fat loss? What's the minimum cut that I need to do? If I can move my calories by 200 calories a day on average, this is often enough to get us back into the scales moving again. I don't need to cut my calories in half. No doubt, as you get healthier and fitter, the minimum effective dose, if you want to continue to improve, increases. If you are in a great relationship, but you want to deepen it even more, well, you're probably going to have to do a little bit more than what you're currently maintaining it with. If you want to increase the rate of return that you're getting from your investments, you will have to probably increase a little bit the amount of money that you're investing, or maybe take a little bit more risk than you're currently maintaining with. But the feature is increasing the minimum dose, not maxing out your capacity, because that quickly leads to failure over the long term. And the problem made by most that are maxing it out, absolutely maxing it out, and you've got to ask yourself, are you doing the same? The problem with maxing it out, focusing on intensity over consistency, is that you're usually sacrificing quality for quantity in the thinking that more is better. Let me make this personal and give you an example. I can maintain my body as a 40-year-old guy looking the same on 2 to 3 gym sessions per week at 70%. And depending on the phase of life that I am in, with my family, my business, my travels, I choose to commit to 2 or 3 gym sessions rather than overcommitting, falling short, and feeling like I am failing because I can't keep all the balls in the air. Do you see the mindset shift, guys? Guys and girls that maintain health and fitness over the long term and focus on longevity over the long run, they integrate fitness into their life. It's not something that is separate. And that should be your goal too. How do I do the minimum necessary at a decent quality to ensure I keep getting results and I move towards whatever goals that I have? How do I do the minimum necessary, the minimum effective dose, so that I can have a life, not feel restricted and bound to something all the time? This is freedom. The great irony of the fitness industry is this. I see so many fitness professionals, many of them chocked full of steroids, trying to be perfect and hold up a status to their clients and those that are in their circle of influence, and they inevitably end up burning out. They end up self-sabotaging massively. I'm picking a lot of you will know people exactly like that, who have spruiked, go harder, go faster, and then 5 years down the track, they're completely burnt out, the weight's gone, and they're a shell of themselves. I know so many people in the fitness industry. So what we need to do is learn from them and run our own race. The parting message of this podcast, guys, is what do you need to commit to? What do you need to exercise discipline in to meet the minimum effective dose for you to get results? If you want to get results that are better than what you're currently doing, you need to increase your minimum effective dose. But you don't need to triple your workload and go to this far out way that it's just not going to benefit you because you're not going to be able to keep it up. So if you think of it more like a level that you need to jump to, this is what's going to work. This is you playing the long game. If you can meet this level as opposed to this level and focus on that consistency over the long term, you won't burn out. It will become a part of you. And what will actually happen is with each occasion that you tick the box and you get consistency at the minimum effective dose, what's going to happen is your self-belief is going to improve. Your self-esteem, your self-worth is going to improve because you've just proven that I can commit to this level. And this is going to set you up for a platform to progressively overload your training into getting to the next level, which might be a performance goal. Given that the vast majority of people that would listen to this podcast are people that are everyday folk between the ages of, generally speaking, 28 and 70, right? We're not trying to be athletes. And I'm not your best coach to create you into an athlete. I'm your best coach if you want to play the long game, if you want more energy to play with your kids, if you want to be able to travel around the world, if you want to be able to keep up, if you want to be able to just do life and then get back to, it's not this, I have to live in the gym thing. That's not the message. The message should be, how do we integrate life and health together as one, as I've favorably managed to do in my life and my family. And I see we're doing the same thing with our kids. This is where you cause massive change and you can become so influential to your fam. Guys, I'm going to love you and leave you there. Hopefully this message has been heard loud and clear. It's something that I would love to shift. And I think there's a difference between remaining accountable and doing the minimum effective dose. To those of you that are in Better Body Academy, I really do think that continuing to post and stay engaged with your community, that needs to be there on almost a daily or an every other day basis. But in terms of the idea that you're having a day off to rest and recalibrate, that's fine. That's what we need to do as part of our journey. Guys, this has been the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. And I'll see you in the next episode.